Okay, here's the story, meticulously crafted to meet all the requirements. A cashier refused to serve Cha Eun-Woo, then discovered who he really was. The fluorescent lights of the Quick Bite convenience store hummed, casting a sterile glow on the rows of candy bars and instant ramen. A woman stood rigidly behind the counter, her face etched with a weariness that belied her young age. Her name was Sarah, and after pulling a double shift, the last thing she wanted was another finicky customer. A bell chimed as the door opened, and a man entered. He was tall, impossibly handsome, with a face that seemed sculpted from marble. He wore a simple black baseball cap pulled low, but it couldn't entirely conceal the sharp angles of his jawline and the captivating depth of his eyes. He gathered a basket of snacks, a bag of shrimp chips, a banana milk, and a package of chocolate cookies, and approached the counter. Sarah barely glanced up. "That'll be $12.50, she mumbled, already reaching for a plastic bag. The man smiled, a genuine, radiant smile that could probably power a small city. "Good evening," he said, his voice smooth and melodic. He reached into his pocket. That's when it happened. Sarah's gaze snagged on something in his hand, not the money, but the worn, slightly crumpled Korean won bills. A wave of resentment washed over her. The small town where she lived, nestled deep in the American Midwest, had seen an influx of foreign investment in recent years, bringing with it a surge of tourists and temporary residents. While she understood the economic benefits, she couldn't shake the feeling that her way of life was being eroded, that her town was losing its identity. And lately, she'd been hearing whispers of unfair practices, of local businesses struggling to compete. Her face hardened. "We only accept US dollars here," she stated, her voice sharper than she intended. The man looked momentarily confused. "Oh, I'm so sorry," he said, his brow furrowing slightly. "I thought I had some dollars on me. Let me check." He began rummaging through his other pockets. Sarah tapped her foot impatiently. "Look, I don't have all day. There are other people waiting." She gestured vaguely towards the empty aisle behind him. He looked up, his expression now a mixture of apology and mild embarrassment. "I seem to be short," he admitted quietly. "Could I maybe put something back?" "Just pay in dollars," Sarah insisted, her voice laced with exasperation. "It's not that hard." He sighed softly. "I truly don't have any on me at the moment. I can go to an ATM, but it's quite a walk from here." Sarah's patience snapped. "Then I can't serve you. Next." She pointedly turned her back to him and started fiddling with the cash register. The man stood there for a moment, seemingly unsure of what to do. Then, with a quiet sigh, he began to unload his basket. He placed the shrimp chips back on the shelf, followed by the banana milk. As he reached for the chocolate cookies, a small boy, no older than 7, tugged on his mother's sleeve and pointed. "Mommy, look. It's Cha Eun-Woo." The boy squealed, his eyes wide with excitement. The mother, initially dismissive, glanced over. Her jaw dropped. "Oh my God," she whispered, pulling out her phone. The name, Cha Eun-Woo, barely registered with Sarah. She was too focused on the mounting frustration of her shift. She heard the whispers and the shuffling, but dismissed it as the usual small-town gossip. She just wanted to get home. Finally, the man placed the last item back on the shelf and turned to leave. He gave Sarah a small, polite bow. "Thank you for your time," he said softly. As he walked towards the door, a flurry of activity erupted behind him. People were taking pictures, whispering excitedly, and a small crowd was beginning to gather. Sarah, finally turning around, saw the scene unfold. That's when it hit her. The boy's words echoed in her mind, Cha Eun-Woo. The name sounded vaguely familiar. Then, the mother's whispered exclamation, the excited snapping of photos, the almost reverent hush that had fallen over the store, it all clicked into place. Cha Eun-Woo. The internationally famous singer and actor. The face that adorned billboards and magazines worldwide. The idol whose mere presence could send fans into a frenzy. The realization struck Sarah like a physical blow. Her face flushed crimson. She had just refused to serve Cha Eun-Woo. And not only that, she had been rude, impatient, and downright xenophobic. He reached the door and paused, looking back at the store. He caught Sarah's eye. She could see a hint of sadness in his expression, but also something else, a flicker of understanding. He offered a small, almost imperceptible nod, and then he was gone. Sarah felt a wave of nausea wash over her. She leaned against the counter, her legs suddenly weak. Her coworker, a burly man named Bob, approached her, his eyes wide. "Sarah, do you know who that was?" he asked, his voice hushed. "That was Cha Eun-Woo." "The Cha Eun-Woo?" Sarah nodded weakly, unable to speak. Bob shook his head in disbelief. "You refused to serve him? Are you crazy?" The rest of her shift was a blur. She couldn't shake the image of Cha Eun-Woo's face, the disappointment in his eyes. The whispers of the other customers followed her like a persistent shadow. She kept replaying the encounter in her mind, each time feeling a deeper sense of shame and regret. After finally clocking out, Sarah drove home in a daze. She couldn't bring herself to eat dinner. She just sat on her couch, staring blankly at the television, the events of the evening replaying in her head. Driven by a sudden impulse, she grabbed her laptop and Googled Cha Eun-Woo. The screen flooded with images of his flawless face, articles about his sold-out concerts, and stories about his charitable work. She scrolled through the results, feeling increasingly mortified. She learned that he was known for his kindness, his humility, and his genuine appreciation for his fans. She read about his advocacy for mental health awareness and his donations to various charities. The more she learned, the more she realized the magnitude of her mistake. She found a fan account dedicated to tracking his whereabouts and activities. There, among the countless photos and videos, was a post about his visit to the Quick Bite convenience store. The post included a picture taken by one of the customers, showing Cha Eun-Woo standing near the counter, looking slightly dejected. The comments section was filled with outrage and disappointment. How could anyone be so rude to him? One comment read, "He's always so kind and respectful," another said. "He doesn't deserve to be treated like that." Sarah felt a pang of guilt so sharp it took her breath away. She knew she had to do something. She couldn't just let this go. The next morning, Sarah arrived at the Quick Bite an hour early. She found Bob already there, stocking shelves. "Bob," she said, her voice trembling slightly. "I need your help." She explained her plan. She wanted to write a letter of apology to Cha Eun-Woo and somehow get it to him. Bob, initially skeptical, listened patiently. He knew Sarah wasn't a bad person. She was just stressed and maybe a little too quick to judge. "I don't know how you're going to get it to him," he said, scratching his head. "He's probably halfway across the world by now." "I know it's a long shot," Sarah said, "but I have to try." With Bob's help, Sarah crafted a heartfelt letter, pouring out her regret and apologizing for her behavior. She explained her anxieties about the changing demographics of her town and admitted that she had let her prejudices cloud her judgment. She emphasized that her actions were not representative of her community and that she deeply regretted causing him any offense. The problem was, how to deliver it? They considered sending it to his agency, but worried it would get lost in the shuffle. After hours of searching, Bob discovered that Cha Eun-Woo was scheduled to make a surprise appearance at a local charity event, a benefit concert for underprivileged children, happening in a nearby city just a few days later. It was a long shot, but it was their only chance. On the day of the concert, Sarah drove to the city, her heart pounding in her chest. She arrived early and waited outside the venue, clutching the letter in her hand. The crowd was already gathering, a sea of excited fans waving banners and chanting his name. Security was tight. There was no way she could get close to him. She felt a wave of despair wash over her. As the hours passed, the crowd grew larger and more frenzied. The energy was palpable. Sarah watched as black cars began to arrive, and security personnel formed a human barricade. Then, she saw him. Cha Eun-Woo emerged from one of the cars, his face partially obscured by his security detail. He was even more breathtaking in person than she remembered. Sarah took a deep breath and pushed her way through the crowd, desperate to get his attention. Cha Eun-Woo. Please. I need to talk to you, she shouted, her voice barely audible above the roar of the crowd. The security guards immediately moved to block her path. I just want to apologize, she cried, holding up the letter. Please, just 1 minute. One of the security guards, a towering man with a stern expression, grabbed her arm. Step back, ma'am, he said firmly. You're causing a disturbance. Sarah struggled against his grip, her voice cracking with emotion. Please. It's important. Suddenly, Cha Eun-Woo stopped. He turned and looked in her direction, his eyes scanning the crowd. He saw Sarah, her face flushed and tear-streaked, struggling with the security guard. He gestured to the guard to release her. The guard hesitated, but complied. Cha Eun-Woo approached Sarah, his expression unreadable. You wanted to say something? He asked, his voice calm and gentle. Sarah, overwhelmed by his presence, could barely speak. She held out the letter, her hand trembling. I just wanted to apologize, she stammered. For the way I treated you at the store. It was wrong, and I'm so sorry. Cha Eun-Woo took the letter and looked at it for a moment. Then, he looked back at Sarah, his eyes filled with compassion. Thank you, he said softly. I appreciate you saying that. He paused, then added, everyone makes mistakes. What matters is that you learn from them. He smiled, a genuine, forgiving smile that melted Sarah's heart. I have to go now, he said. But thank you for your apology. He turned and walked towards the venue, leaving Sarah standing in the crowd, speechless and overwhelmed. As she watched him disappear inside, she noticed something glinting on the ground near her feet. It was a small, silver charm in the shape of a star. It must have fallen off his bracelet. Sarah picked it up and clutched it in her hand. It was a tangible reminder of her encounter with Cha Eun-Woo, a symbol of forgiveness and second chances. In the weeks that followed, Sarah made a conscious effort to be more open-minded and accepting of others. She volunteered at a local community center that served immigrants and refugees. She learned about different cultures and perspectives. She challenged her own prejudices and biases. She never forgot her encounter with Cha Eun-Woo. It was a turning point in her life, a moment of profound self-reflection that forced her to confront her own flaws and strive to be a better person. One day, a few months later, Sarah received a package in the mail. It was a small, elegantly wrapped box. Inside, she found a signed photograph of Cha Eun-Woo, along with a handwritten note. Thank you for your sincerity, the note read. I hope you continue to spread kindness and understanding in your community. And please, keep the star. May it always remind you to shine brightly. Sarah smiled, tears welling up in her eyes. She carefully placed the photograph and the note on her mantelpiece, next to the silver star charm. She realized that Cha Eun-Woo's act of forgiveness had not only redeemed her in his eyes, but had also inspired her to become a better version of herself. He unknowingly taught her the power of empathy and the importance of treating everyone with respect, regardless of their background or origin. The experience had changed her life forever. And it all started with a cashier who refused to serve Cha Eun-Woo, then discovered who he really was, not just a celebrity, but a catalyst for change. The lesson wasn't about recognizing fame, but about recognizing humanity. It was a powerful reminder that even the smallest act of kindness, or unkindness, can have a profound impact on the world. And that sometimes, the most unexpected encounters can lead to the most transformative journeys. The memory served as a constant reminder, judge not lest ye be judged. Sarah continued her volunteer work, finding a sense of purpose she hadn't realized she was missing. She organized language exchange programs at the community center, helping newcomers learn English and locals learn Korean, Spanish, and other languages. She even started taking Korean lessons herself, driven by a desire to understand the culture and language that Cha Eun-Woo represented. The Quick Bite convenience store, once a symbol of her stagnant life, became a daily reminder of her transformation. She made a point of greeting every customer with a smile, regardless of their appearance or accent. She learned to listen more and judge less. Her colleagues noticed the change, and even the regulars, who had once been wary of her gruff demeanor, started to warm up to her. One afternoon, a young Korean woman entered the store. She looked lost and confused, clutching a crumpled map in her hand. Sarah, without hesitation, approached her. "Can I help you find something?" she asked in her newly acquired, albeit rudimentary, Korean. The woman's eyes widened in surprise. "Oh, you speak Korean?" she asked in English, her voice filled with relief. "I'm trying to find the bus stop to go to the city center, but I'm completely lost." Sarah smiled. "I know exactly where it is. Come, I'll show you." She led the woman out of the store and pointed her in the right direction, providing clear and concise instructions. The woman thanked her profusely, bowing deeply. As she watched the woman walk away, Sarah felt a surge of satisfaction. She had made a difference, however small, in someone's life. And it was all thanks to the unexpected lessons she had learned from Cha Eun-Woo. Months turned into years. Sarah remained committed to her volunteer work and her personal growth. The silver star charm, now slightly tarnished with age, remained a constant presence on her keychain. It was a reminder not only of her past mistakes but also of her present commitment to kindness and understanding. One day, she received an email from the director of the local community center. The email informed her that they were organizing a fundraising gala to support their programs and that a special guest would be attending, Cha Eun-Woo. Sarah's heart skipped a beat. The email explained that Cha Eun-Woo had heard about the community center's work and was impressed by their efforts to promote cultural understanding. He had offered to donate his time and talent to help raise funds. Sarah was overwhelmed with a mixture of excitement and apprehension. The thought of seeing Cha Eun-Woo again filled her with both anticipation and nervousness. What would he think of her now? Would he even remember her? The night of the gala arrived, and Sarah dressed carefully. She chose a simple but elegant dress, wanting to make a good impression. As she entered the venue, she was struck by the grandeur of the ballroom and the energy of the crowd. She found her seat at a table near the front, her heart pounding in her chest. She scanned the room, searching for a familiar face. Then, she saw him. Cha Eun-Woo entered the ballroom, his presence commanding attention. He looked even more radiant than she remembered, his smile as captivating as ever. He began to mingle with the guests, shaking hands and posing for pictures. Sarah watched him from afar, hesitant to approach him. As he made his way closer to her table, their eyes met. He paused, a flicker of recognition in his eyes. He approached her, his smile widening. "It's you," he said, his voice warm and genuine. Sarah stood up, her face flushed. "Yes, it's me," she said, her voice trembling slightly. I don't know what to say." "There's nothing to say," he replied. "I'm just glad to see you here, supporting this important cause." He gestured towards the community center's director, who was standing nearby. "I've heard wonderful things about your work here," he said, turning back to Sarah. "You've made a real difference in this community." Sarah blushed, feeling a sense of pride she had never experienced before. "Thank you," she said. "It means a lot to hear you say that." They talked for a few minutes, catching up on each other's lives. Sarah told him about her volunteer work and her efforts to promote cultural understanding. He listened attentively, his eyes filled with genuine interest. Before he left, he reached out and gently touched her arm. "I'm proud of you," he said. "Keep shining brightly." He smiled, that radiant, unforgettable smile, and then he was gone, leaving Sarah standing there, feeling lighter than air. As she watched him take the stage to perform, she realized that her journey had come full circle. She had started as a cashier filled with prejudice and resentment, and she had ended up as a compassionate and dedicated member of her community. And it was all thanks to Cha Eun-Woo, the celebrity who had taught her the most valuable lesson of her life, that everyone deserves to be treated with kindness and respect, and that even the smallest act of forgiveness can change the world. His refusal to hold her initial rudeness against her, his quiet grace and subsequent encouragement, had unlocked a potential for good within her that she never knew existed. The concert was a resounding success, raising a significant amount of money for the community center. As the evening drew to a close, Sarah felt a sense of gratitude and hope. She knew that her journey was far from over, but she was confident that she was on the right path. She left the gala with a renewed sense of purpose, determined to continue making a positive impact on her community. She carried with her the memory of her encounter with Cha Eun-Woo, not as a reminder of her past mistakes, but as an inspiration for her future endeavors. And as she looked up at the night sky, she saw a single, bright star shining down on her, a silent testament to the power of forgiveness, the importance of empathy, and the transformative potential of a chance encounter. The star reminded her that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope, and that even the most ordinary person can achieve extraordinary things. The cashier who once refused to serve Cha Eun-Woo had finally discovered who she really was, a person capable of kindness, compassion, and change. And that, she realized, was a discovery worth more than all the fame and fortune in the world. Her story became a local legend, a testament to the power of redemption and the enduring impact of a single act of kindness. Years passed. Sarah, now in her late 30s, had become a pillar of her community. The community center flourished under her dedicated volunteer leadership, expanding its programs to include job training, language classes, and cultural exchange initiatives. The initial seed of change planted by Cha Eun-Woo's visit had blossomed into a vibrant garden of inclusivity and understanding. Sarah's Korean had improved remarkably. She devoured Korean literature and movies, immersing herself in the culture she had once been so quick to judge. She even started teaching introductory Korean classes at the community center, sharing her newfound passion with others. The Quick Bite convenience store, now under new ownership, displayed a framed photograph of Sarah with Cha Eun-Woo from the gala, alongside a plaque detailing her transformation. It served as a daily reminder to customers and employees alike that everyone deserves a second chance and that even the most unlikely people can become agents of positive change. One crisp autumn afternoon, Sarah received an unexpected phone call. It was from Cha Eun-Woo's management agency. "Ms. Miller," the voice on the other end of the line said, "Mr. Cha Eun-Woo is planning a visit to the United States next month. He specifically requested to meet with you again." Sarah's heart leaped. "Really? He did?" "Yes," the voice confirmed. "He's deeply impressed by your work and would like to discuss potential collaborations between his foundation and your community center." Sarah was stunned. I don't know what to say," she stammered. "We'll be in touch with the details," the voice said. "He's looking forward to seeing you again." The following month, Cha Eun-Woo arrived in town. This time, there was no element of surprise. The visit was heavily publicized, and a crowd of adoring fans gathered outside the community center to welcome him. Sarah, however, was not overwhelmed by the fanfare. She was calm and composed, ready to greet him as an equal, a fellow advocate for positive change. When Cha Eun-Woo arrived, he immediately sought out Sarah, his face lighting up with a genuine smile. "It's so good to see you again," he said, embracing her warmly. "It's wonderful to see you too," Sarah replied, her voice filled with gratitude. They spent the afternoon discussing potential partnerships between Cha Eun-Woo's foundation and the community center. They explored ways to expand the center's programs, provide scholarships for underprivileged students, and promote cultural exchange initiatives on a global scale. Cha Eun-Woo was impressed by Sarah's vision and her unwavering commitment to her community. He was particularly moved by her story of transformation, her willingness to confront her own prejudices, and her dedication to creating a more inclusive and understanding world. "You are an inspiration, Sarah," he said sincerely. Your story is a testament to the power of forgiveness and the importance of second chances. As the afternoon drew to a close, Cha Eun-Woo presented Sarah with a generous donation to the community center, along with a promise of ongoing support. He also announced his intention to become a global ambassador for the center's programs, using his platform to raise awareness and inspire others to get involved. Before he left, Cha Eun-Woo took Sarah aside. "I have something for you," he said, reaching into his pocket. He pulled out a small, velvet box and handed it to her. Sarah opened the box and gasped. Inside, nestled on a bed of satin, was a matching silver star charm, identical to the one she had found on the ground years ago. "I had this made for you," Cha Eun-Woo said. "So we can both remember to keep shining brightly." Sarah's eyes filled with tears. She took the charm and clasped it onto her keychain, next to the original one. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice choked with emotion. "This means the world to me." As Cha Eun-Woo departed, Sarah stood on the steps of the community center, watching him wave goodbye. She knew that their paths would continue to cross in the years to come, as they worked together to make the world a better place. The story of the cashier who refused to serve Cha Eun-Woo, then discovered who he really was, had become more than just a local legend. It had become a symbol of hope, a reminder that even the most unlikely people can find redemption and that even the smallest act of kindness can have a profound impact on the world. And Sarah, the cashier who had once been blinded by prejudice, had become a beacon of light, illuminating the path towards a more inclusive and understanding future. Her journey, sparked by a chance encounter and fueled by forgiveness and empathy, had transformed her life and inspired countless others to embrace the power of change. She finally understood that true wealth wasn't measured in dollars and cents, but in the richness of human connection and the unwavering commitment to making a difference. The star, now a pair, shone brighter than ever, a testament to a bond forged in error, strengthened by remorse, and ultimately, illuminated by love, not romantic love, but the profound, universal love for humanity. The collaboration between Sarah and Cha Eun-Woo proved to be remarkably fruitful. The community center experienced a surge in volunteers, donations, and program participation. Cha Eun-Woo's global platform amplified their message of inclusivity and cultural understanding, reaching millions of people around the world. Sarah, in turn, became a sought-after speaker, sharing her story of transformation at conferences, schools, and community events. She inspired audiences with her honesty, vulnerability, and unwavering belief in the power of second chances. She emphasized the importance of empathy, urging people to step outside their comfort zones and connect with those who are different from them. One of their most successful initiatives was the Bridging Cultures program, which connected students from different countries through virtual exchange programs, cultural immersion trips, and collaborative projects. The program fostered cross-cultural understanding, promoted tolerance, and empowered young people to become global citizens. Cha Eun-Woo also leveraged his influence in the entertainment industry to promote social causes. He incorporated themes of inclusivity and diversity into his music videos, television shows, and movies. He used his platform to advocate for marginalized communities, raise awareness about important social issues, and inspire his fans to take action. Their partnership extended beyond the community center and the entertainment industry. They collaborated with government agencies, nonprofit organizations, and corporate partners to develop and implement innovative solutions to address pressing social challenges. They focused on issues such as poverty, inequality, education, and healthcare, working tirelessly to create a more just and equitable world. Despite their busy schedules, Sarah and Cha Eun-Woo remained close friends. They spoke regularly, sharing ideas, offering support, and celebrating each other's successes. They valued their connection, recognizing that their unlikely friendship had the power to inspire and uplift others. One day, Sarah received an invitation to attend the United Nations General Assembly in New York City. She was invited to speak on a panel about the importance of cultural understanding in promoting peace and security. Sarah was honored and humbled by the invitation. She spent weeks preparing her speech, carefully crafting her message to resonate with a global audience. When the day arrived, Sarah stood before the assembled delegates, her heart pounding in her chest. She spoke passionately about her own journey of transformation, emphasizing the importance of empathy, forgiveness, and second chances. She shared stories of individuals whose lives had been changed by the community center's programs, highlighting the power of human connection to overcome prejudice and build bridges between cultures. Her speech was met with thunderous applause. Delegates from around the world approached her afterward, expressing their admiration and offering their support. As she stepped down from the podium, Sarah saw Eun-Woo standing in the wings, his eyes filled with pride. "You were amazing," he said, embracing her warmly. "You inspired everyone in that room." Sarah smiled. "It's all thanks to you," she replied. "You gave me a second chance, and you showed me the power of kindness." Their work together continued to gain recognition and accolades. They received numerous awards and honors, including the prestigious Nobel Peace Prize nomination for their contributions to promoting peace and understanding. However, for Sarah and Eun-Woo, the true reward was not the recognition, but the impact they were having on the lives of others. They were making a tangible difference in the world, creating a more inclusive, compassionate, and equitable society for all. Years later, Sarah sat on the porch of her small house, overlooking the vibrant community center that had become a beacon of hope for so many. She was surrounded by her family, friends, and colleagues, all of whom had been touched by her story and inspired by her work. As she looked out at the smiling faces, she felt a profound sense of gratitude. She had come a long way from the days when she was a bitter and resentful cashier. She had found her purpose in life, and she was surrounded by people who loved and supported her. Suddenly, a familiar figure emerged from the crowd. It was Eun-Woo, his face beaming with joy. He approached Sarah and took her hand. "I have something to tell you," he said. He paused, taking a deep breath. "I'm getting married," he announced. Sarah's eyes widened in surprise. "That's wonderful," she exclaimed. "Congratulations. And I have a very important question to ask you," Eun-Woo continued. "Would you do me the honor of being my best woman?" Sarah was speechless. She had never expected such a request. I don't know what to say," she stammered. "Please say yes," Eun-Woo pleaded. "You're one of the most important people in my life, and I can't imagine getting married without you."